Greetings from the Center for Global Christianity and Mission. The CGCM is physically located at the Boston University School of Theology.
And virtually located at bu.edu/CGCM.
I'm Daryl Ireland, and I'm the Associate Director of the CGCM.
I'm Michelle Sigg, Director of the Dictionary of African Christian Biography, also known as the DACB.
The CGCM was founded in 2001. At first, it was only a virtual reality with no physical office space. Now that has changed in the last few years, but existing as a digital center for more than a decade has left its mark.
For one thing, it pushed us to prioritize virtual spaces over physical spaces, because amassing a physical archive was impossible. Digital materials, on the other hand, had no cap on space.
So in 2007, the CGCM launched the first digital humanities project at Boston University, the History of Missiology. It is a massive digital library of classic mission texts and a biographical and bibliographic resource on hundreds of missiologists. The History of Missiology was a pioneer in digital scholarship.
That project preceded other digital book repositories like the Hathi Trust, and was established even before the term digital humanities became standardized to describe projects like this. Since that time, the center has spearheaded a dozen additional digital initiatives and now ensures that every research project it is involved in has a digital dimension.
The CGCM holds 4 basic values that shape our digital projects: open access, international collaboration, relevant resourcing, and 21st century scholarship.
First, our projects practice free and non-subscription-based open access. We believe this ethos represents a more just access to scholarly and pedagogical resources. Open access caters to diverse audiences across the globe that do not all enjoy the same quality internet connection or membership-only use of proprietary materials.
Second, international collaboration brings together partners from Northern and Southern hemispheres to expand the scholarly dialogue taking place in global Christianity.
Third, CGCM projects embody an ethos of relevant resourcing. That is, we aim to create pedagogical resources where they are lacking and to address the questions and concerns of a global audience of teachers, students, and practitioners.
Fourth, building 21st century scholarship means the CGCM is taking a 21st century approach to documentation. Through our library of digital projects, the CGCM is contributing to a new generation of scholar researchers trained not only in traditional methodologies, but also in the consumption, collection, processing, and dissemination of data via digital media.
The Dictionary of African Christian Biography came to the center in 2012. The project was founded in 1995 by Jonathan Bonk and went online in 1998. The DACB's mission is to collect, preserve, and make freely accessible biographical accounts and church histories of African Christianity. The DACB is constantly adding new content. And this content includes biographies from individuals, men and women, from all across the continent of Africa, in all Christian traditions, in all centuries, including ancient Africa. And these are biographies of clergy and lay people, local agents and foreign missionaries, ecumenists, evangelists, catechists, medical practitioners, artists and musicians, scholars, theologians, and more. Our Collected Memories initiative is a crucial strategy that the DACB uses to pursue their urgent goal to recover history that is being lost to human memory. The DACB takes the concept of open access to another level through its use of minimal computing. This means that to make our content as accessible as possible to our primary audience in Africa, the website is specially designed so that it uses very little bandwidth, is easily viewable on smartphone, and is portable. Portability means that the full DACB can be shared via USB drive for those with computers but little or no internet access. To extend our reach, all content is non-proprietary and can be published locally for educational use. Our philosophical commitment to a more just access for digital resources and to universal availability is central to our mission. We believe this model of wide open access is a way to decolonize historical research in Africa. The DACB is the ongoing fruit of international collaboration. Members of our Senior Advisory Council and International Editorial Board come from all across Africa and represent a variety of Christian traditions. The DACB prioritizes authorship by Africans, both scholars and lay people. Essentially, anyone who wishes to help document the legacy of the mothers and fathers of African Christianity. We have the help and the collaboration of many students, educators, and researchers in institutions across the world, most of them in Africa. To be a relevant resource for scholars, teachers, students, ministers, and churches, DACB content is designed to be user-friendly, easily searchable using indexes such as these, or a search function that works even on the USB drive. New initiatives address particular pedagogical needs and gaps in scholarship, such as our thematic research projects that focus on women, musicians and artists, diaspora, Christians, and others. Second, our educational resource initiative seeks to address the needs of educators by providing bibliographies, supplementary materials available via PDF files or links, and class planning tools such as syllabi or curriculum booklets. And finally, the Journal of African Christian Biography, which was founded in 2016, offers content and commentary on African Christian figures in history. Finally, the DACB contributes to 21st century scholarship by building a biographical library of African Christian figures that fills a gap in the global Christian history and makes it available to scholars, educators, and readers everywhere. And now, it is my great joy to introduce a friend and a collaborator, Dr. Kiama Mugambi from Kenya. He is a member of our International Editorial Board. He will give us a few of his thoughts about the DACB, and he will also tell us how he uses the DACB as a scholar and as an educator. Karibu sana.
I'm Kiama Mugambi from Nairobi, Kenya, and I'm a member of the editorial board and contributing editor to the Journal of African Christian Biography. The DACB project is a unique project, and I see it as an opportunity to preserve the memory of people from different denominations, from different kinds of ministry on the continent, and at all levels of Christian community, men, women, throughout Africa's Christian history. DACB provides an opportunity for these stories to be contributed from all over the continent by different kinds of people, by students, by scholars, and by people who have that living memory. It draws out of the memory of the lived experience of Christians on the continent. I find many points of connection with this project that I first heard of from some scholars, including Professor J.N.K. Mugambi, and then from Professor Jonathan Bonk, the founder and director emeritus. I see the value of this project in several ways. First of all, as someone who's involved with publishing on the continent, DACB offers a different kind of publishing opportunity. Through these, contributions from different people around the continent, it provides an opportunity for people to write their story, and not necessarily from an academic perspective, but rather from a lived experience perspective, and to present, quality stories of what is going on the continent. The vision and ethos of the DACB and JACB sits somewhere between the need for literary works, so the need to write things down, and the oral context in which we come from. And I find that very attractive coming from Africa. It provides a valuable resource that authors can draw on and draw inspiration from. But also as a scholar, I found the material helpful in piecing together the story of Christianity on the continent, and many of these emic perspectives provide insightful glimpses of the lives and the times of key figures who have contributed to the Christianity that we know on the continent today. And finally, as a teacher, I use the stories to tell, the history and to tell the story of Christianity in Africa from the perspective of indigenous authors. I also use the stories to inspire my students to write their own stories, drawing from the oral and literary sources that they have at their disposal. It has been very exciting for me to see the students begin to write their own stories about their own key figures and contribute to this wonderful resource that is available for us. And I look forward to seeing many, many more of these stories written about Christianity in the continent.
The China Historical Christian Database, or CHCD, quantifies and visualizes the place of Christianity in modern China from 1550 to 1950. It provides users the tools to discover where every Christian church, school, hospital, orphanage, publishing house, and the like were located in China, and it documents who worked inside those buildings, both foreign and Chinese. Collectively, this information creates spatial maps and generates relational networks to reveal where, when, and how Western ideas, technologies, and practices entered China. Simultaneously, it uncovers how and through whom Chinese ideas, technologies, and practices were conveyed to the West. This project breaks new ground in providing quantifiable data about modern missions in China. The CHCD is exiting its proof of concept phase. We plan for the first public iteration to appear by the end of this year. The CHCD's data will be free and available for anyone to download. But when we talk about open access, we mean much more than open data. The truth is, most digital humanities projects are usable only by the digital elites, those people who already have computing programming skills and can operate specialized software to analyze massive amounts of data. Most of us do not fit that description. Thus, the CHCD is intentionally more than a database. We are also building a user-friendly web interface so that general internet users can take advantage of this resource. Let me have Alex Mayfield, the digital architect of this project, explain how the web interface works.
One of the core goals of the CHCD is to ensure that our data is accessible to those who might not have a strong digital humanities skill set. To that end, we have worked to develop the CHCD online platform, a web application that allows users to interact with our data through an intuitive interface that's similar to popular websites like Yelp or Google Maps. Currently in beta stage, the CHCD online platform only includes data from Shanxi province and serves as a proof of concept for the final platform that is currently in development. This version allows users to explore the history of Christianity in China via geographic and network maps. Here in Map View, users can filter data by time, name, affiliation, location, nationality, and gender. So, suppose you're interested in Portuguese Jesuits in Shanxi. All you need to do is set your affiliation and nationality. This gives us a map of known Portuguese Jesuits in Shanxi. We know that in the 17th and 18th centuries, the town of Puzhou was important, so let's take a closer look there. When we do, we can quickly discover that there were 3 Portuguese Jesuits located there: Almeida, Costa, and Furtado. If we click on Learn More, a pop-up appears which provides basic biographical information and tells us more about Furtado's career. If we click on Puzhou, we can see who else was there. Obviously, we see Almeida and Costa, but we could also discover that non-Portuguese missionaries were also there. And if we go back, we can also see that Furtado played a large role in China. He was the superior at the northern residences of Beijing, the founder of the community at Liuxianhui, and served as a vice-provincial of China. Now, this already gives us a good deal of information, but the online platform can help us explore Furtado's broader connections as well. If we switch to Network View, we can enter his name, set the degrees of connection, and choose the types of connections that we want to see. So let's set the type of connection to people and institutions, and the degrees of connection to 3. This gives us a sense of the broader groups who Furtado may have interacted with during his career. Now with that, we can begin to explore the social circles of Furtado and dive deeper into his own career. When complete, the online platform will also feature a statistical view which can generate charts and graphs based on the data. Together, these 3 views will give users a window into the rich data of the CHCD and into the story of Christianity in China.
Thank you, Alex. With this web interface, we are striving for true open access, or maybe I should say democratic access. The CGCM's projects are not reserved for the digital elite, but are intentionally created for anyone with basic web surfing skills. International collaboration. A project of this size, which tries to record relevant data on tens of thousands of missionaries and Chinese Christians over a span of 400 years, drawing on sources in more than a dozen languages, means that this project is too big for any one person or even a single institution. From the beginning, the CHCD has pursued international collaboration. Those partnerships take on multiple forms. Some are legal with contracts and obligations spelled out. Others are more informal, but no less real. Let me give you 3 quick examples. Our first international collaborator was Professor Liu Xian at Renmin University in Beijing.
Renmin University has provided money to hire 2 of its graduate students to enter data into the CHCD. However, the partnership with Boston University is more than that. A number of scholars at Renmin University have interest in this area of study and experience with digital projects. One colleague, for example, worked to create a database out of the information in the Christian occupation of China, published in 1922. By working with the team in Boston, we hope to provide help and direction for the CHCD based on our experience, while also helping them build a tool that can be useful for our own research projects.
Thank you, Professor Liu. Another agreement is with Monumenta Syrica in Germany. There, a team of scholars and archivists are mining the Society of the Divine Words materials and inputting data on all the SVD missionaries. A third partnership is still in the making, but it is illustrative of the diversity. The University of Macau, the Macau Scientific and Cultural Center in Portugal, and the CHCD are in a three-way conversation about sharing data and computing skills. We are all working on different but overlapping projects, so we are trying to team up in order to reach our own goals faster. A project the size of the CHCD requires this kind of intense international collaboration. The point of the database, though, is not to store data, but to be a relevant resource. In this case, we believe the CHCD can be useful for teaching and exploring world Christianity in several ways. First, it's an encyclopedia of Christianity in modern China. It allows users to find basic information on people, churches, hospitals, etc. Second, the web interface makes it easy for instructors to provide visualizations of the Christian presence in China over time. And third, it allows students to customize their visualizations. If someone is interested in the spread of basketball in China, for example, the CHCD can be a great place to begin. Hazel Cho is a Boston University student working on the CHCD. Hazel, will you tell us about your personal research project?
I want to explore the rise of Christian boarding schools in China as a series of social networks. Boarding schools were first created to educate Chinese girls, and later many of these women were given leadership roles in churches. I want to better understand how this movement for equality in society began in coastal regions and then later spread inland. I'm curious to see how Christianity challenged the patriarchal structure of Chinese society and its traditional gender roles.
It is exciting to see the ways that the CHCD can provide relevant resourcing for teachers and students who want to explore world Christianity. Finally, we believe the CHCD is a tool for 21st century scholarship. It allows users to manipulate big data, to see patterns and stories that would not surface from studies of individual Christians or out of denominational archives. We believe this can be transformative in multiple ways, including breaking down the barrier that has separated scholars working on Christianity in China, that dividing wall between studies of Catholics, the Orthodox, and Protestants. The CHCD will make it more difficult for scholars to ignore the other side when they can actually see that the Catholic Church was across the street from the Protestant chapel. Another key feature is the way the CHCD is part of the spatial turn in historiography. Space is no longer static or neutral, but is filled with meaning, and the CHCD helps a scholar dig through the spatial layers of the past. Finally, I should note that the CHCD capitalizes on social network analysis. This is an area of study that has arisen with the internet, but has implications far beyond it. Seeing the social networks of Christians in China can help us better understand all kinds of things, including how anti-foot binding movements operated, where and why biomedical ideas became popular, who the Jesuits interacted with in the Ming court, and on and on. The CHCD allows users to visualize social networks and the role they play in history. All of these, and hopefully more, are ways that the CHCD fulfills the Center for Global Christianity and Missions goal of enhancing 21st century scholarship. In conclusion, the DACB
and the CHCD
illustrate different ways that the Center for Global Christianity and Mission approaches digital projects.
But our values, open access, international collaboration, relevant resourcing, and 21st century scholarship are the same. They animate all the digital projects of the CGCM.
These values emerged over time as the scholars and students at the CGCM sought to chart a path in the field of world Christianity.
We believe they are also representative of the values and objectives of world Christianity as a field of study.
They express a new decentering of scholarship and pedagogy that is inclusive of global concerns and open to multi-directional conversations. Thank you.
Thank you.